Hi there, I'm Natasha. This is my channel, Always Be Crafting. And today is Monday, November 3rd. So usually I'm on here on the UB-Tubies on Saturdays, because on Saturdays I sew. But I've made a decision. After being inspired by Sam over at Sequingirlie, I've decided that I am jumping on the Vlogmas early bandwagon. That's what I'm doing. I am starting Vlogmas now. So today is day one of Vlogmas. I know, crazy, right? The reason I've decided to do this is because it will help me organize my time over the next 3 weeks, because I have my first holiday market on November 22nd, followed the following Saturday with a second holiday market on November 29th. And I've just decided that, you know what, this will really help me organize my time, because I'm now less than 3 weeks away from my first holiday market, and then less than 4 weeks away from my next holiday market. So here I am, Vlogmas number 1. What I'm going to be doing, just so you know, is I'm going to be coming in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's going to be my schedule. So I'm going to have at least 9 Vlogmases before my first holiday market. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday for my second holiday market, have another 3. So that'll be 12 right there. Before we even hit December, I've already done half the amount of Vlogmases. Now, when I get to December, I may change the schedule, but I think I'm going to stick with Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I think it's going to work. This is the plan. I reserve the right to change my plan, but this is my plan. And I'm hoping that this schedule will help me really be prepared for the holidays, because in my house, we don't just celebrate Christmas, we also celebrate Hanukkah. And so I really want to make sure that I have everything together for those 2 holidays. Now, I wish there was such a thing as Vlogmaka, but it does sound kind of weird. So I'm just going to stick with Vlogmas as the title. And today's Vlogmas number 1. You are finding me in my basement crafting room, where I am at my sewing machine. Most of the things I make for these holiday markets are sewn items. Sometimes there is an element of screen printing. Sometimes there's an element of cricketing. And what I've decided, because I've had so many decisions, I'm going to attack my scraps. Scraps. I have a lot of items already made, so I don't really need to make too many things to get ready for the holiday markets. But I thought, you know what? I love quilted scraps. I love it. So today you're going to see me. I'm going to take you into my garage. That's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt, because it's November and it's just a little chilly. But when you see me again, which will be probably a little while from now, because I have to go pick my son up from school. But when I come home from picking him up, I'm going to give myself 1 hour. So all these videos will be compressed 1 hour a day. They're not going to be hour-long videos. There's going to be a lot of sped-up footage. But all my Vlogmases, at least the next 9 Vlogmases, are going to be, what can I do in 1 hour on a Monday, 1 hour on a Wednesday, 1 hour on a Friday. And yeah, let's see what happens. So I will see you in my garage, where I am going to take all of my scrap fabric, because I've got bins, I've got bags. Some things are organized, some things are not. But the best way to do it is just to get it all in one place, right? Because I've got a lot of ideas for some really cool, scrappy items. All right, I will talk to you soon. I'll see you soon. Bye. Welcome to my garage. All right, so I've spent about 20 minutes gathering everything. I got home from picking up my son from school, and now I've spent, like I said, 20, maybe closer to 25 minutes gathering all my scraps, because holy smokes, did I have scraps all over the place. So these bins are my curated scraps bins, and that's what I'm going to try to get everything into today. Oh, sorry, I have to move this box. That is quilty stuff from, if you saw over the summer, the quilt I had at the Festival of Quilts. This is all the leftover blocks that did not get used in that, because I was using quilt blocks of my mom's, and she had a ton of quilt blocks. So hopefully I'll do something fun with those. But those are a separate category, because my mom made those quilt blocks. So kind of a separate category from scraps. even though they are technically scraps because they are unfinished quilt blocks that may or may not belong to a quilt, blah, blah, blah. I digress. Scrap boxes. Things are going to go into those boxes. Now, how do I show you this? Let me turn you around and show you the chaos that is 1, 2, 3 bags, 4 bags, my scrap bin. All right, let me turn you around. And these are my scrap bins. So I have a black bag full of scraps, a purple bag full of scraps, this clearish bag, this basket. There's a denim bag down there that is technically full of scraps, but those had been scraps I was using for a project, but I'm no longer using them for that project. There's another bag here. These are all like, I don't know, they're just a mess of scraps. Like, I think they're scraps that are joined to other waddings and stuff. Like, here's some that it has foam in it, and they are like not cotton necessarily. Like, there's some what's that called, mesh in there, and the cottons that are in there I think are already fused to like fusible fleece or things like that. So that's kind of its own category. And there's another bag in here somewhere. Oh, that was a quilt block, not a scrap. Oi, 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 oi. So many things. These are leftover. This is quilted to by Annie Soft and Stable. This was the fabric I used on my tennis shoes, so that's leftover. Somewhere in here there is there's like overalls that had been cut into. There's another bag in here somewhere though. Is that it? I think that's the top of the bag underneath that denim right there. So this is my scrap hamper where I throw scraps when I'm sewing and cutting, and I throw scraps in there. And yeah, other things have gotten thrown in. Like, this is an old journal cover that was like a practice piece when I was practicing I wanted to see different things on my sewing machine, different embroidery things. I made it into a journal cover, but that journal's been since tossed out. So now this fabric is scraps. So yeah, I've got a lot of scraps. I'm going to start by dumping everything you just saw onto this table. I'm going to set up those bins next to each other so they're not stacked together. And then after everything's dumped on the table, then I can start sorting them into their color coordinated bins. Or in the case of things, this will only be quilting cotton. That's all that's going in these bins is quilting cotton. If it's not quilting cotton, or if it's already fused, it'll get set aside, and then I will create something easier to use than what I currently have. I don't know what. It might be a box, but I will get everything scrap-wise together in different categories, and I'll make you zoomy zoom fast. We've got about 15 more minutes before I have to leave, so let's set a timer and see how much I can get done in 15 minutes. So now, all said and done, it's less than an hour today, but it's probably more than an hour when you count up all the time it took me to set up and clean the table and that kind of stuff. I don't know. It is what it is. Happy Vlogmas Day 1. This is how we get started. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Enjoy this fast footage of me dumping scraps onto a table and then hopefully sorting them, or at least starting to sort them. And then we'll see what happens on Wednesday when I come back. Thanks for being here. Bye. Pause for a second, because as you see, I'm already getting a huge, enormous pile. But look what I just found. Can you believe that? My mom was so stinking talented. She was so stinking talented. They're so tiny. Like, what the heck, lady? She was so talented. But I'm finding little treasures amongst the scraps, because That's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes you find treasure. But also there are just some pieces that are cut, so I'm adding them. Even if they were my mom's, I'm just adding them to the scrap bin. I'm not sure what she had planned for all of these. Maybe she was just going to do more of that round cutting. Look, this one, even these two are pinned together. Oh well, they're going in. Oh, these things, a lot of things are pinned together. What were you working on, Mama? What were you working on? I'm gonna have to unpin all these things because I don't know what the intention was other than, should I just sew these together and see what my mom was making? Oh, I don't know. Follow her lead. I think she was just doing like square and squares. That's what it looks like, because it's like a square fabric. And then she's got two sides pinned on. And she's got a whole stack of them. What do you think? Yeah, I'll keep the ones that are pinned. And I will, this one only has one side, so that one might have to go. I will sew the things together that she had set out. Because why not? It's pinned. Let's see what happens. That'll be project number 1. Whatever those create, we will do something special with them. And maybe they'll become a bag or something else. Because like I said, I have lots of plans. All right. That's only been like a couple minutes. I gotta keep going. I got more. Oh my gosh. I have to keep sorting. Bye. Things are starting to fall apart. I still have 2 little tote bags left that have not been incorporated into this pile, but the table can't handle anymore. Things are starting to fall off. And I've already seen that I have a number of items that are like foam, you know, because I had done a cushion for someone and I have these leftover foam scraps. So I have to find a bin I have to find a few bins. So like these color coordinated scrap bins are great for my cottons. Now, what am I going to do with my other things? So I think I'm going to find a bin because I've got I'm in my garage. You can see I've got tons of stuff in here. But do you see this pile over there? Oh, there. This pile, I think I can find some bins that I can put foam into. I'll put like any kind of interfacing and or stabilizer. Foam is a type of stabilizer or an interior product, if you will. So I think I have a project for this batting already, but if I find more batting, I'll put like that. So anything that goes on the inside, batting, foam, etc. in one bin. And then another bin for things that stretch, fabrics that stretch. And then a third bin for our fabrics that are already interfaced, whether they are interfaced with foam, you know, if they have a foam stabilizer already quilted inside, or a fusible fleece, or any other SF101 or lightweight stabilizer, anything that's already been sewn, because if it's an iron-on stabilizer that I can just rip off, I'll probably just rip it off. But if it's something that's been like quilted on, like which is usually what happens with fusible fleece and foam, like by Any Soft and Stable, for example, those are usually quilted, so that's too much work just to rip that away. So in that case, I will collect them for another purpose. They will get used even if they are used as stuffing or something like that if I make a giant cushion. So that's what I'm going to do. I have to find bins. So I'm going to have to go that way, that way, that way. It's so weird because I'm on a camera, so if I point at it in real life, it doesn't necessarily look like it to you. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna find bins so I can organize, and then I don't know what's next, but I see a couple of bins that I can use already, so I'm gonna go grab those. I'm gonna grab them, and that might be the end of today. So when we come back on Wednesday, all of this will start to get sorted into those appropriate bins, whether they're color bins because of their cotton, quilting cotton, or like I said, a bin for something stretchy, a bin for things that are already quilted, and a bin for anything that goes on the inside. Wish me luck. Thanks for being here again. I think I've already said thank you, but I'm saying thank you again. Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying this. If you have ideas, let me know. Vlogmas Day 1. Done. Bye.